I really loved biology class, but it was always very, very hard. I couldn't pay attention. I would just lie my head down in class. And so I remember my grades in school suffered, but it's not because I wasn't studious enough. It's just that I was physically not able to. Migraine was really dictating my life. I started experiencing migraines when I was fairly young. I would get different symptoms like very, very sensitive to light, sensitive to noise. But I sort of told myself oh, well, everyone goes through this, and you just sort of power through it and hope that it goes away hours later. But it got worse when I was around 15 or 16. That's when it became not manageable anymore.
Migraine is a disorder that's subcategorized. The first way that we categorize migraine is based on how affected somebody is. If somebody has a headache more than 15 days a month, we call it chronic migraine. If it's less than 15 headache days a month, we call it episodic migraine. It's really the same disorder that can fluctuate over time depending on multiple factors. Women are at a higher risk for developing chronic migraine compared with men. The overuse of as-needed medications, and if there are undertreated psychological problems like anxiety, depression, we know that people are more likely to develop chronic migraine.
When I was first diagnosed with episodic migraine, I remember having this medical note from my physician saying that if ever I needed to leave class for a migraine, then I would be able to excuse myself and go to the nurse's station. So it was a lot of coming back and just showing up to class and being like, what are we talking about? How did I miss all this? My life literally revolved around and still revolves around migraine. It was about not going to parties, wearing sunglasses outside all the time, always having my abortive medications next to me.
We separate migraine treatment into two avenues, and we think about prevention for migraine, so how do you reduce the burden of migraine? And then we think about abortive treatment, or what we call rescue treatment. So things that you would take on an as-needed basis during a migraine attack to hopefully halt it. If those are used too often, they can lead to medication overuse headache, which then can lead to a daily headache or lead to chronic migraine.
I think in the span of 6 months, I had gone from having, headaches once in a while to having migraines almost every single day. You take an abortive medication, and then as soon as its effect stops, then you start getting another headache again, and so you have to take more. It means your preventative treatment isn't doing enough. And I often blame myself for having and being in so much pain. It wasn't myself that was wrong, it was the medication that wasn't right for me. My physician said, can you just track your migraines, just for a month, just to see. And then I filled out the calendar and just counting all the migraines that I had in a month. And was like, this is a lot more than 15. That's when he said okay, well, your preventative treatments are for episodic migraine. They're not for chronic migraine. We decided to move forward with chronic migraine treatment specifically, and that was just such a game changer.
Make sure that your doctor understands what you're dealing with. Actually tracking how much you're missing your work and how much medication you're needing to use can be a really powerful way of actually explaining to someone how much this is affecting your life. When coming up with a treatment plan for anyone, it's important that we always look at someone as an individual. And the more types of treatments we have available, the more chance we have to help and treat and improve the lives of more and more patients.
When I was in the hospital, one of the nurses saw that I wasn't coping well with my migraine and the chronic pain, and so she was the one that just, sat next to me and said that we're going to find a way to make this work. And that was sort of the moment that I realized that I wanted to be that person for someone else. Right now, I'm doing my PhD full-time, and I'm working part-time at a private medical clinic. And we even have patients that come to the clinic that complain of headaches or migraine, and now I'm fully equipped to help them, which is an incredibly humbling experience. People deserve to be listened to and not have their symptoms brushed off and told to, just go outside, breathe some air, drink water. Yes, it's an invisible illness, it's a hidden illness, but that doesn't make it less prevalent. And I think knowing that, I would have seen my symptoms as not being something to brush off, because it's so much more than just a bad headache.